Hi, I'm Lynn Swanson. I'm a journeyman beekeeper from North Carolina, coastal North Carolina, and today we're going to be talking about horizontal hives. And of the 3 different kinds of horizontal hives that are best known, and the new kid on the block, I've got 2 favorites. One of them is a long lang. We're going to take a look at one of those today, and one of them is the new STS hive. It stands for Supers to the Side Hive. So come, let's take a look. These are STS hives. It's a big box hive. It's got 2 colonies. This one is G1 and G2. We're going to take a look at G2 today. And this is a colony that requeen themselves, and we're going to be checking and seeing just how everything goes.
Okay.
But when you take a look at these hives, you can see you got R10 insulation on the top, room for 2 colonies, lots and lots of room. R7 insulation all around, so they're like this great big awesome bee tree. Each of the colonies, this is just me, but we've got hive tools for each one, and each colony also has the see-through inner cover. Love my see-through inner covers, because year-round, as long as the temperature's over 55, I can sneak on in there. I can say, that's what the numbers look like. That's what the activity looks like. This one might need a little attention. This one doesn't need a little attention. I can see their food consumption in the winter, because in the see-through inner cover, each one has a hole. And in that hole, it could be corked. It could be a cork that has a very high temperature silicone tube that allows OA to be introduced to the hive. I could take out the cork and I could put fondant, like Hive Alive fondant, love the stuff, put that on there. What the horizontal hives all have in common is this right here. This is a follower board. It's a great big board that separates this colony from this colony. And what's in the middle is open space. So in the winter, I can condense this hive down by moving this way and pulling out extra frames. I can expand this one if I want, or contract it. Either way, it gives you a lot of flexibility. This hive also uses what's called mega frames, which is the size of 1 deep plus 1 medium Langstroth frame. And the brood frames are 1 big continuous open space supported by, I use wooden skewers. You can use lots of different things to support the comb, but I just like the wooden skewers.
Okay.
The supers to the side, however, there's your deep Langstroth, and then you've got your medium Langstroth underneath, and they're attached in 2 different places by stainless steel zip ties. 14 cents a piece. You get them at your local Harbor Freight. Easy to get.
Okay.
Those, of course, are snipped and separated when it comes time to harvest. When opening up these hives, I open up the center boards first, just to see if I have any stragglers that somehow wound up getting around the follower board. That does happen on occasion. Okay, nope, we're looking really good here. And next thing I do is I set up my frame holder. Love this handy dandy little frame holder made by 2x4s. And little angles and screws included, less than $7. Super easy to make. It will hold any size frame, so you can use it with deeps, you can use it with mediums, you can use it with the mega frames. There's room for 1 frame on the back and 3 frames in the front. Just gotta get it so it's not going to slip. Now we're secure. Great. All right. One thing about the hives here at Safe Harbor Farm, I don't use a smoker. Never have. Don't need it. These are kind of nice bees. You know, we don't have room for grumpy bees here. We have occasionally squished a queen because she was getting older and started kicking out some grumpy genetics. We don't go there. Then we let them requeen. So we just use this as a 1-to-1 sugar syrup with a little bit of honeybee healthy. To me, that's the smell of spring.
Yeah. Honeybee healthy. Yep.
Honeybee healthy. They like the stuff. I like the stuff.
Yeah, I used it this morning when I transferred the swarm into their new hive. I never smoke them. In those situations, I always spray the sugar water.
I want to be associated, I want my bees to associate me with something good. Something smells
sweet.
good,
Yeah.
something that tastes good. I'm the lady with the good smelling stuff.
Yeah.
Hi, girls. The lady with the good smelling stuff is here.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. Now, of course, bees being bees, we're going to have the brood up here.
Okay.
These are all going to be honey frames.
Ah.
So I am not going to, because I'm looking for something specific in this hive, I'm not going to go through all of the various honey frames. I don't want to pull them out. The nectar run is slowing down here. I don't want looky-loos and robbers coming in.
That's right.
But you see that I just moved the follower board over. That's the same with your other long hives. Same thing happens. Give you a quick peek at one of the supers to the side, one of the honey frames. Again, these are different than the brood frames.
Okay.
All right, that's what they look like.
All right.
Okay, now, these are a little bit older, this one. I put in 3 different skewers. We went to 4. We've never had trouble with 3, but hey, you know what? We went with 4. We're not going to regret it. And these, by the way, just to show you how this works. Watch the way, sweetheart. Okay. This frame holder is awesome because I can sit back and I can check for eggs. I can double check for queens. When my Hives for Heroes helper, Rachel, is here, she can be looking on one side. I can be looking on the other side. Hands off. Love this frame holder.
Perfect.
Yeah. So okay. So we're going to stick this guy in here. And the one thing about the medium frame that is attached to the deep frame is we have the sides, the shoulders here are clipped off so that it fits in nicely. Okay, but it fits into any kind of extractor without issue.
Okay.
All right, girls, coming in next side here. Oh, we profilised beautifully, we did. What good girls. What good girls I have. Okay, how about some of this good stuff? Thank you, guys. I just love the smell of that. To me, that's spring. That's the bees. This is why I do what I do. All right, so we've got some more of these honey frames. I'm just going to scooch on over. So one of the nice things, one of the many nice things about working with a horizontal hive is you can kind of keep covered what you're not looking at frame by frame. I mean, I could take these and I could put those down and cover that if I wanted to, if I thought I was going to start to get some robbers, some looky-loos. Okay. One hive beetle there. This is the south. We got to watch out for those things. All right, here we go. We're starting to cap off the honey on this one. Okay, beep, girls. Over. We'll take a quick peek. Quick peek. Yep. See, starting to cap that off. That's going to be nice. That's a really old frame there because I don't even have a skewer in the middle of that bottom one. Don't know how that one snuck into place there. We can always add skewers afterwards, after the fact, before we extract anyway, and I would. Alrighty. So you can do this and keep everybody nice and quiet as you work. Not that these are very rambunctious bees. Hi, girls. Hello, Mr. Droon.
And there's no heavy lifting.
No. As a matter of fact, when these are really full, it might top off. You know, like, you know how you have them, they're full, but they're also really wide and full. You know, okay, the big extreme, I would think maybe 12 pounds. You know, so we're not talking 80 pounds. We're not talking
10 to 12.
You know, yeah, exactly. And the brood frames are light. Oh my gosh, brood is light. So here we got this, just another honey frame. going to move that guy over. Don't need to look at that. Our queen's not going to be there. We're looking for brood today. We're looking for any signs of queen cells, supersedure cells. Got a little cross comb here. Okay, guys, we're going to take care of that. So I'm just going to pass on all of these lovely honey frames. They're going to be harvested in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to get to my brood frame. What I'm looking for is what's called a honey bridge. And a natural honey bridge is where you've got the queen and she's giving you brood, she's giving you brood, she's giving you brood. And then you have this complete frame of nectar and honey. That's your natural honey bridge. It's, in a way, it's called a bridge because it's a bridge that queens won't naturally cross because they don't want to split their brood nests. That said, they still might do it every once in a while with drones because they're looking for those great big cells. They might have some drones over here, but those are drones that you can kind of just switch as part of your IPM, you know, your
integrated
pest management.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
there you go.
Yes. All right. So it's never been a problem. I don't have worker brood split. All right. So we're going to open this up here. Not that it's needed, but again, we're just building associations with the bees. We want them to know that I'm the lady with the good stuff. We give them a tiny little spritz, much nicer than hitting them with smoke. There we go, girls. Look at that. Now this is, of course, we're talking about like 11 o'clock in the middle of the day, so our foragers are out. When we get our forager force back in there, this is going to be absolutely swimming with bees. But right now I'm happy with the population. Okay, so this is actually what a brood frame looks like. And this is one that the bees decided, okay, we're going to put some honey in it. That's fine. You know, I work with my bees. If they want to put honey in a brood frame, I'm not going to worry about it. However, this is honey for them. This is honey for me. So it works out well. Now we're getting into some frames that might have some brood in it. Or they might just be honey bridge frames, multiple ones, because this being a decent sized colony, they need room for their resources. The resources I'm not going to take. Okay, that little green dot tells me that that was the one that I deemed a honey bridge frame. Alrighty.
Look at all the nectar.
Yeah. So that frame weighs maybe about 6 pounds with that little bit of honey in there. And we've got some dronies. We've got some nice open cells for nectar. Nectar all here. We got some pollen. Love these frames. Now to turn them around, this is the one thing that takes like a little bit of practice. Pick it up, turn it around like this. Put it on, just like that. All right. And lots of nectar. Definitely tons of uncapped honey here. Definitely a whole bunch of different kinds of pollen here. And this is an old frame because you can see there are absolutely no rods in there. Okay, so when we started this project back in the very beginning, January of 2023, we started with version 1 of this hive. And so we said, well, what's going to work and why is it going to work? What's not going to work and why is that? So we were experimenting. We tried some things. So this is one of those frames. It was like, okay, how much are the bees going to support this honeycomb by themselves without anything else that we do? And the answer is actually quite good. But that said, not 100% perfect. I would not say that this is as strong. I mean, I'm not going to pick this up and turn it and tilt it to take a look at it. No, of course not. So that's why, again, we're now going to be using the skewers. Or we started using the skewers, I think, after the first 6 months. And then we tried 3 skewers, and now we're at 4, and we're really happy with 4.
Okay.
All right.
But this is so much more natural. This is what you would see inside a tree or somebody's walls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's got the insulation of both of those places.
Yep.
Just gonna look and make sure we don't have any little cross comb on the top. No, we're looking pretty good. Hey guys. Okay. Got a little bit of, hi, what are we doing here? Okay, a little bit of resistance here. Yep, just propolis, I think. Doing good. Okay. So these guys were in a growing phase not long ago, and I gave them some of these extra frames to build out. Let's see what they're doing with this one. Okay. So they initially will build some of them, often build them down, then they'll all interconnect them.
Okay.
Now this is also one of the early frames because this one here has a standard deep side, and we made the extension and we reinforced it. That was before LC Farms came up with 16-inch sides. You can now buy the 16-inch sides from lc-farms.com. This, of course, is standard Langstroth. This is standard Langstroth. You buy the side pieces from LC Farms and you're ready to go.
Cool.
Alrighty. Don't expect to see Her Majesty on this since they've decided it is a honey frame.
Honey frame, yeah.
But we are going to just take a quickie look anyway. We've got the prettiest drones in some of these hives. They've got the little caramel butts on them. Very queeny kind of butts, but that doesn't make them a queen. Makes them a drone with an orange butt. All right, we're looking good here. All right, kids. Now, one thing about quick peeking on these things, not every frame will I put on this frame holder. Sometimes I'll just do a quick peek like this. Having these boards gives you so much flexibility. And you are not picking up boxes.
Nope.
And see how calm the bees are? You're really disturbing them less. And when you pull them out of the hive, I truly honestly believe that having that extra room just allows them to continue doing what they're doing. They're not as upset.
Don't seem to be.
Good girls. Good girls. All right, guys, let's see what we've got here. Get a little bit closer. And all I want to see is some new brood, because that means that this girl came back from her breeding flight and she's doing really well. We've got a huge pond. Actually, Bill, turn around, show everybody the pond back there. So we do have our share of dragonflies here.
I just saw my first one a couple of days ago at my garden.
We got them all sizes and shapes.
And that causes problems with our virgin queens. I didn't realize how bad that is until we used to do splits in July after we took honey. Then we had very good success, and then all of a sudden we stopped having success. The virgin queens didn't get back from their mating flight, so we ended up, well, what's going on? Of course, we didn't have dragonflies for a long time. Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, last year we didn't have a lot. Hey, Bill, close it on this and see how beautiful all that pollen is. This is just a resource frame.
And you got bee bread.
Yep, lots and lots of bee bread. We got our honey here. This had been some drone comb that we cut out with our IPM efforts. And that's why it was also another experimentation situation, because this is, again, old frame, one of the original ones. This has plastic foundation here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then no foundation on the bottom. So it actually has good support up to this point.
Sure.
There was really no reason to put the skewers, although we certainly can put them from the bottom to that if we find that it's needed. But, you know, it's a resource frame. It's not going to be something we're harvesting, and it hasn't been an issue. Okay, girls, hold on. Come on, no one pinching anybody. I don't want to pinch
No.
everybody. There we go.
Cool.
All right, on to the next one. So a really big hive, you're going to, take your time taking a look at the frames and examining each one, but you don't have to worry about the boxes.
Okay, that's a good frame there. Let's see what's going on. Lots and lots of bees.
Yeah, I don't see any brood yet, though. I don't know if our girl is back.
How many days has it been?
Oh, I think it was the 29th was when we took their queen. And because she was a proven entity, she was doing really well. We moved her into a nuke. So we've had, 3 weeks? They were left with a queen cell and possible notation that there already was a virgin queen hanging out because there had been a cell that was open. So we had, we had one that was closed and one that was open.
That's usually a good sign.
Yeah, but we hadn't had like all the drones come back yet. You know how it is when like you open it up and your first frame is full of drones? You're like, oh, they followed somebody home. Yeah, so there wasn't any of that yet. No, so there's really no room for brood here because these are mostly packed with pollen and nectar.
There's a tremble dance right there.
There it is.
That's trembling.
Calling in the troops.
That means I've got nectar and I want to share it. And there's another tremble dance. Yeah, these are foragers that have brought nectar in, and somebody needs to receive it.
Somebody needs to unload. Unloaders, please.
Yep.
Alrighty. And we have each of these frames labeled on the top with a number, the year that the frame was put in.
Oh, okay.
So that's why some of them, it looks like I'm putting it in an awkward angle. It's only because I want to keep all my numbers in the front.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Switch everybody over just a little bit here. There you go. Some room. All right, this big dot is where the queen was last time we looked, but not this queen. That's a previous queen.
Oh, okay. Got a new queen.
Hopefully we have a new queen. We're going to find out. They're acting very much like they're pretty happy with the situation.
You don't hear any roaring. They seem to be pretty calm. Don't see a lot of defensive behavior.
Tons and tons of bee bread. This was, again, one of the original frames. This hive must have just gotten a whole bunch of them. They're still very good. They're just not the way we do them anymore. This one had plastic foundation on bottom, plastic foundation on the top.
It works okay, though.
That it does. So what do we got here, girls? Okay, we've got a little activity going on here.
Got some queen cells.
Well, we got 2 queen cups. This one is not totally finished. We'll have to follow up on that. Okay, so remember that the frame with the green dot is the one that has the queen cells.
Yep.
And if I find that great big nice queen, I don't think I'll keep those queen cells. We're going to give her a chance. She's got some good genetics. She just needs time to prove herself, and we need to make sure she's got space and that all of this is not going to be crowded out. We've had a lot of nectar-bound colonies this year that, of course, we gave them extra frames, so that wasn't the case beyond that. Yeah, here we go. We got some queen cells, multiple ones. Well, the other thing, too, is that she doesn't have room to lay with how they've brought in the nectar and the pollen.
Right.
You know, none of these frames that I'm looking at right now are going to give her the room she needs to lay.
Yep.
And that won't be her fault she's not laying, but I know the bees don't always get that. They'll blame it on the queen when they haven't given her any time
Yep.
to lay. So, okay, let's turn this around here.
Yeah.
We can at least find her, and then we know what to do with that.
Yep. So what's your, what are you thinking?
Well, you know,
Now that you got cells.
I have learned not to form conclusions till I've looked at every single frame.
Okay. So we're gonna look at every frame.
No jump into conclusions.
Well, you know what I always say?
What do you say?
Wait a week.
Wait a week. Exactly. Things can be very, very different.
Doesn't that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. Well, especially with
you
new
guys
queens.
call me and describe the situation. I say, let's wait a week.
Let's wait a week.
Yeah. What can happen in a week?
Yeah.
It
You don't
can
want to wait
clarify-
2, 3, 4, you know, but
it can clarify a lot of the puzzle.
let's get all the
Just
information, as
watching
we
them,
say.
yeah, watch how they handle it.
Those frames that weren't built out yet,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to switch them up. I'm going to switch at least one up there.
Okay.
Because all of those, we don't have all of our information yet,
Mm-hmm.
but we do know that if Miss Girl is back, she's going to need some room.
Mm-hmm.
And those other frames aren't going to give her that room.
Nope.
So we're going to be doing a little moving around. Let's see.
Yep.
My frame. Do.
Yep.
And see, all this manipulation of frames and everything is not bothering the bees,
Mm-mm.
you know? I'm going to move these guys over. Beep, 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 beep. Just kind of move 2 at a time. There we go. 1, 2. Hi, girls. Beep, 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 beep. Good girls. Here we go. Do.
Great looking drones.
The fact that we've got a bunch of drones, and rather than being on the honey frames at the very end where a lot of drones hang out,
Yep.
they're closer to the front. What's that telling you? Who'd they follow back, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe we have our new queen
Mm-hmm.
on these frames. Let's see what we've got
Possibly.
here. I'll take that as a positive sign that that's where the drones are.
Okay.
I'll take that as a positive
Yeah.
sign. Just gonna have to see. Don't see Her Majesty. If I see her, got queen clips. Sometimes I'll clip them just so I know where she is while I check the other frames. And sometimes I will
Mm-hmm.
just, stick this right back.
Yep.
Quickly. Making sure she follows it. Alright, here we go. See her, Bill?
Mm-mm.
I don't yet either. So here we're skipping ahead just a little bit. We actually didn't find the queen. Okay, she could have been on the side, but we didn't find any new brood. We didn't find any new eggs. And so we did find those queen cells.
Yep.
What I did was I moved up some frames where the bees could build new worker comb for her to lay in, because otherwise she's going to have problems with this hive if she doesn't have that, because this hive otherwise would be nectar bound.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a fantastic nectar run this spring. but that comes with the potential issue in each of the hives of being nectar bound, and that affects the queen laying. So they're super happy bees. I'm going to let them do what they're doing. I'm going to recheck them in 1 week and see how those queen cells are, see if indeed they do get capped, and I'm going to be following them. So when it comes time to just close up the hive, the supers to the side hive, it's really super simple. I mean, you're just moving all of your frames over, shoulder to shoulder for the brood area, so that you've got no extra room for a lot of burr comb. When you start with your honey frames, because you want to build them out nice and wide, that's where you give yourself a little extra wiggle room. But this is such an easy hive to work. Little top on once you get your small hive beetle traps in there. Yep, none in there. But that's okay. We are always want to be proactive when it comes to small hive beetles. All right, girls, out of the way here. Beep, beep, beep. There you go. Take this in place. Okay, girls, come on down. And you notice that when I'm working with this hive, this other hive has no clue I'm even doing that because they have their towel over them. It's nice and dark.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so easy to work these hives. Now, you know, that said, I love my long langs too. And I really didn't think I was going to love them as much as the SDS hives, because the STS hives have so much lovely room for the bees to put their resources and to move around. And also, I had been told, actually numerous times, oh, the long lang hives, you're just not going to get a lot of honey. You're going to get a lot of bees. Well, I'll tell you what. My long lang hive is my best producer.
Yeah.
Absolutely, hands down, 2 years running. I have a long lang hive, the best producer. There you go. So now I'm just moving the follower board into place. And these follower boards are wood on the inside. On this side, I've got a layer of double bubble as just a little bit of insulation. But now our colony is all closed up. Once I close this up and close the top up, if I have a couple of stragglers, which often I do, we've got these little bee escapes. And the bees can let themselves out. I put a little cotton ball in during high robbing season. Just as a preventative, I think that's a good idea. I'm going to put down this.
That's cool.
Here,
and does this come with a lizard or without?
Oh, all of our hives come with a lizard, but flower pot is optional.
Yeah.
Flower pots are optional.
Yeah.
All right, we put these things away, and then let's go over to the long hive. I said long hive. I should have said long lang hive. All of these hives also have extra latches because, you know, we are in bear country. We are in hurricane country. And not to say that this is hurricane proof or bear proof, but it's the vertical hives I worry about. It's my nukes I worry about if we have any bad weather or predators. These guys, once they're built, and which, by the way, this is all open source. How to build these is all online. When you put them together, this box without the top, about 120 pounds when you don't have the follower boards and all those extra boards in them. So they're not too hard to move into place. Then we put the tops on. We have moved, as a matter of fact, we moved this one here because it was in an area originally put that had some ants. And so we figured, you know what, let's move it forward just a little bit. So we had 2 strong hives move it with the roof in place, with the bees in place, with all the wood in place and everything else. They said with all of that, it was about 350 pounds. So this is a stable hive. It's not one, of course, you're going to use for moving all over the country, you know, to other areas, but totally movable if you need to do it.
Okay.
As I say, flower pots, optional.
All right. Get a look at the others. So you started with how many?
So we started with the first generation of STS hives. We had 3, that is 6 colonies.
3, okay.
We now have 6. We're well into our 3rd year using them. Take a look at this one over here. So we changed the way we put the roof together. This roof here was a little too heavy, and we wanted easier access to the IPM oil pans in the back. Okay, so we're going to go into this long laying, which has the same kind of IPM oil pan. You just take this out and you slide your little tray out.
Sure.
It's got 3 trays because this particular one started out as housing for 3 nukes.
Okay.
Okay, so a nuke is going to be, your standard nuke is going to be 5 frames. But sometimes nukes and buyers don't align themselves exactly. And you have a nucleus colony that really is bursting at the seams. They got to get out of that nuke box. So we had these designed so that we had 10 frame, 10 frame, 10 frame, and then we could put a nuke in there temporarily and then pull out the 5 frames when we had the buyer for them. That hasn't a problem this year. We have such a waiting list. So I figured, you know what, let's use these long langs and see if we can overwinter colonies. Let's see how they do. And I'll tell you, that long lang right there, again, 3 entrances, but only 1 is used. And this long lang right here, again, 3 entrances, but only 1 is being used, are fantastic honey producers.
Cool.
Okay, these are my city bees. They were a cutout from a 140-year-old house in Newbern. And these guys were a split from some of my other colonies, so they're our genetics.
Okay.
Now, with this hive, I'm not going to go through all the frames
Okay.
because you'll notice with these, now these are just deep frames. These aren't the mega frames. So I have deep frames. Here's the brood frames. These are all honey frames, and even though it's not painted white, this one with the nails and the screws, this is my follower board.
Right.
So this one colony is that big.
All right.
Okay, these are all honey frames. But what I want to look at with this colony here, hey girls, is right here, Bill. I don't know if you can see. That's a queen clip. And that queen clip has hanging off of it a queen cell. Very loved, very well taken care of. I checked it about a week ago, and these bees were loving them up. Again, another situation where just had a well-producing queen, a proven queen. We wanted people with nukes that had proven queens. They didn't want new queens. So it's like, okay, you can have my 40 queen. Sent them to somebody who was buying nukes from us for the 2nd year running. She's already getting honey from that. By the way, this is going to be the successor, okay, this queen. So all I want to do is I want to check this girl here. Which one wants to come out easy today? Come out easy? You want to come out. You just want to come out completely, don't you? Okay, we could do that. We could do that. Hi, girls. It's the lady with the nice syrup. I love these see-through inner covers. Did I say that already? I love these see-through inner covers. They're awesome. All right, let me see if I can find a frame that I can move out of the way. It's going to be this one to move those over. Got to be very, very careful with that. Don't want to drop our queen cell. I'm hoping that it's open from the bottom and we've got a new queen in here, and I'm going to just leave her be. As long as the queen cell looks good. Let's see here. I can make just enough room. Normally, of course, I'd be coming from that side and moving all the frames over, but probably won't need to do that today. I hope not. Let's see what this looks like. If I can wiggle this guy out here. smells. Hi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Got a nice little honey frame here, all being built out, being capped over there. Looks beautiful. Other thing about the long Layens and also the STS hives, basically the long hives, is you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got all this beautiful room for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't hanging over the side.
They're on the ground.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all. Okay, and actually here, I'm going to switch, because my clunky little hands are not going to pick that up with these gloves. I'm switching to...
Mm-hmm.
So we do turtle rescue at Safe Harbor Farm, and we are really, really not into single-use plastics, single-use gloves, and all that kind of stuff. It's it's a shame that these can't be reused, but they just honestly can't. But this is a situation where manual dexterity trumps use of a single-use product once. And I'll still try to reuse them because that's just how I am. Alrighty. Hi, girly girls. Let's see. Those look like they go together. We're going to just move them 2 at a time here. Look at all that beautiful honey. It's going to be very, very good harvest this year. Oops. Alrighty. Drum roll, please. Well, they haven't attached it with a lot of wax because it moved a little bit when I open this up. Very gentle here. And look at that big old queen cell. And hello! Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
So if you haven't tried this, it works really, really well. When you harvest your queen cell and you want to transfer them, make sure you harvest a lot of comb on the top. This actually had a lot. The bees rearranged that. But you don't want to be pinching, your queen. This one, I have to check my notes. Okay. I have to check my notes. But it's our genetics. Yeah. It's our genetics right here. Yeah. You got a nice open queen cell.
You got a queen.
Woo woo!
You got a virgin queen.
We have a queen. I'm going to leave them be another 10 days or so. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to check on her.
You should check on her. Yep.
Yep. Not going to check on her right now. No need to.
But so far so good.
That's what I was hoping to see. So we didn't find the queen in the other one, but it looks like the bees may be taking care of the problem themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to give them a lot more credit than I would credit my assumptions.
Yep. Check your math, but I think they probably found some suitable larvae.
I hope, because we do have a problem with the
hours.
dragonflies.